For any medical practitioner, the same question always arises. How can I make the other feel better? But in this anime with this particular feline apothecary, you'll find yourself scratching your head as to why it's so enjoyable to see Maomao give herself a daily dose of poisonous concoctions. Not right in the head, but does have an alright head.
それでは今日から私の次女になってもらいます。は？
マオマオが抑えられないもの、それは好奇心と知識欲。
For me and for many fans out there, one of the biggest reasons to tune into this healing historical story is the detective factor. The journey we go on with Maomao, while littered with many other fun things we'll get onto later, is ultimately paved by a road of mysteries to be solved. Whether it involves saving lives or something more politically aligned, Maomao's intelligence is constantly put to the test during your stay in the Inner Palace. And though we do trust that any and all unknowns will ultimately be solved by this cute lady in green, it's the process of deduction itself that I think gives a lot in terms of entertainment value. If you ask me why that is, I would venture to guess it has a lot to do with how much personality Maomao has at the end of the day. Her intelligence is not just a written farce that acts as a means to an end for each mystery, it's a very real trait that has determined her way of life. And even now brings her struggle, from each fake freckle to every trouble letting her feelings known. Also, it would be one thing if she were simply smart, but in this story, Maomao is our titular heroine and is thus as compassionate as one might expect.
お慕いするリファ様と同じだ。血抜けの失せた肌と落ちくぼんだ眼下と食事も取れないような体。なんでこれが禁止されたか。 At
times, for going self-preservation, she's not afraid to receive a smack or two if it means reaching a desired result, or getting close to it, at least. But why such a disconnect from pain? Not just from the smacks, but also from the poison she so dearly loves to meddle with to a relatively worrying degree. While taking a step back from the present, Maomao has had a very tumultuous past filled with trauma, losing not just a finger in her infant years, but pretty much both biological parents. Having to live in the red light district where there isn't much space for anything besides business also meant a general presence of neglect in her life. While the ladies in the courtesan house do show love for her, they were woefully unequipped to raise a parentless child. Nevertheless, the seeds had already been planted for her intelligence to grow. Both her father and mother were considerably intelligent, with Lacan especially shown to be of higher status and function, all things considered. Incidentally, Maomao even ended up in the care of the old man Lumen, who was quite the accomplished apothecary himself, hence the career choice. Likely because of all this, Maomao grew on the right side of rationality, being reliant on logic throughout her day-to-day. This has also led her to constantly be on guard, making sure never to jump the gun and always be certain of her deductions. But make no mistake, it's also due to this that she's ready to go on the attack toward those who ignore logical thinking, especially at the cost of others' health. She'd probably live a much more unbothered life if she were more like Shaolin. Not to say she lacks intelligence altogether, but going through life just munching on some steamy buns sounds pretty good to me.
いいところに勤められてよかったね。しっかり稼いでおいで。
わかった。ついでに乗客も連れてきてくれると嬉しいわ。
金持ちのいい旦那を見つけてくるんだよ。
Crazy duo.
いらぬ誤解を。
とりあえず中に入ろうか。
天使様？
Something you can never take away from this series is how simply addictive the chemistry is between Jinshi and Maomao. Bringing out the most entertaining out of one another, it's just a joy to see such a masochist interact with the stonewall that Maomao is. Maomao herself is an entirely different beast altogether, showing her nutty side only when some weird ingredients or poison catch her eye. May it be mushrooms or even some good old gallbladders. Gallbladders.
やはりこれは呪いでも何でもない。問題はどう伝えるかだ。何かかけるものさえあれば。
While this is yet to truly cross the realm of romance, I just can never get enough of the push and pull between these two weirdos. And honestly, even just that is enough for a rewatch in my book.
首にしないでくれ。
わかった。
それでは。
金は弾もう。
Whoa, 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 let's not click off the video just yet. There's a lot more coming in store, and it's even more potent than what we've shown. If you'd like though, you can take this chance to like and share the video to show your support. And if you want, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of this awesome content. Or comment down below your thoughts and join the otaku mob in their discussions. We love to see those too. Anyway, let's get back to the video. The Mysteries Paved.
リファ様が喜ぶと思った。
毒だっつってんだろうが。何も考えていない。自分が一番正しい。
Now, how about the mysteries themselves? Is it really just because of Maomao and the rest of the cast that I willingly enjoy watching the same exact scenarios play out? Well, sure, that's one side of things. But to fully get across my feelings towards the meat this anime truly gives out, let's take a look at another recently aired anime that's somewhat similar. Ameku MD Dr. Detective.
歩いてください。
白状者。見えたわよ。
That's right, we've gone a long way from ancient China to a modern-day hospital. Specifically though, let's take a look at the curse of Enzo mystery and compare that to the case of the servant who fell in the moat. In Ameku MD's case, it does start from just a mysterious illness, but eventually things kick off for real with a death in the very same episode. Similarly, in Apothecary Diaries, the mystery kicks off when a certain servant is found dead, having drowned in a moat. Both cases are labeled as possibly self-inflicted, yet as we've come to expect, it always runs deeper than you think. Now, the problem. Well, for starters, while the mysteries in both anime run for just 3 episodes, the one from Apothecary Diaries is actually tied to multiple previous events, namely the mysterious fire and the garden party poisoning. Meanwhile, Ameku MD takes a much more generic approach with pretty isolated cases. But really, the glaring issue for me with Ameku MD is this man right here, Yuta. He's a stereotypical bad dude who comically appears so many times over the course of the case, and I just couldn't believe it took so long to put 2 and 2 together. Of course, if you are aware of how it goes, Ameku MD does redeem itself by adding some caveats to who the culprit is, or how many they actually were. That being said, the issue still lies in the fact that so many characters involved die, to the point that the remaining ones available could only be culprits themselves, ruining the surprise. In my opinion, it all goes back to how each of these anime tackles their values and how Ameku MD fell short where Apothecary Diaries soared. Despite previously setting up Ameku as both extremely intelligent and attached to her manslave Yu, she put zero effort into identifying Yuta as a potential suspect who would be a danger to Yu. There was also just a general lack of appropriate tone considering how many people died over the course of the case. Constant screaming about a curse that's clearly not a curse, and some misplaced jokes really take me out to how grave the situation really is. Essentially just giving little to no value to the aspect of life, a value that's readily apparent in a series centering around a medical doctor. On the other end of things, Apothecary Diaries has mysteries that serve the overall world, connecting different characters and political motives into a seemingly ordinary case. Of course, it does have the luxury of being a much larger series, but it doesn't take away from the fact that everything serves the value of realism. Not in the sense that the series is all doom and gloom, but in the sense that all characters breathe in the world. They all have their own issues, ambitions, and schemes. Quite literally, the concluding episode of the mystery is titled Reducing 2 to 1, referring to the reduction of the amount of motives for the culprit. An act that didn't exactly spell a fairy tale ending, but resulted in a conclusion that is just a little bit less cruel. Things just matter, may it be in the way of the mystery at large or the feelings that reside within the characters. Feng Ming may not have been spared from death, but she was given the opportunity to give out less pain. A truly redeeming moment considering how much regret she's had over the pain she caused way back then. This amount of care, this amount of value has all served to make the journey through the series all the more enjoyable to go through again and again.
重いな。
毒ですけどね。死ぬことはないので大丈夫ですよ。
And that's it for today's episode. How was it? Did we get you wanting to go through another Apothecary rewatch? I know I always do. Before you hit play on episode 1 though, considering hitting the super thanks button on this video, it would truly mean the world to me. As always, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you want to see more. Also, don't be shy about joining in on the comments down below. We always love to have you. Thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you again next time.